from the New York Times about an explosive White House meeting yesterday where, behind the scenes, Elon Musk clashed with several members of Trump's cabinet. At one point, according to the Times, Musk attacked Secretary of State Marco Rubio for firing, quote, nobody at the State Department, telling him that he was good on TV, with the New York Times reporters noting, quote, the clear subtext being that he wasn't good for much else, unquote. Joining us on the phone, the New York Times' Maggie Haberman, who, along with Jonathan Swan, broke the story. Maggie, what led to the blow-ups between Elon Musk and these cabinet secretaries?
So, Jake, this cabinet meeting was called abruptly on Wednesday evening. Not all of the cabinet was there. Because of that, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, who's among the people who has had tensions with Musk's effort, was giving a speech in New York and wasn't present. But a number of cabinet officials have been frustrated with the approach that DOGE is taking, Musk's cost-cutting initiative. Not that they disagree with the idea or the concept behind it, but just with the chainsaw, across the board efforts that are not always in close coordination with their agencies. What's more, Trump has been hearing directly from lawmakers about concerns that their constituents are voicing. And so all of this led to this cabinet meeting where Trump said that going forward, the cabinet officials make the decision, DOGE will advise. Some of this also, Jake, is guided by lawsuits that are going on. But at the top of the meeting, Musk pointed out that he owns or has 3 companies that have a market cap of tens of billions of dollars, and that his results speak for themselves. And that sort of set the tone for what he sees the government as, and the contrast with how cabinet secretaries who have to manage the workforce can operate. Doug Collins spoke first in terms of a back and forth with Musk. The VA secretary, that was fairly staid. Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, had a pretty contentious back and forth with Musk. He accused Musk of trying to fire air traffic controllers in the midst of what is a crisis for the FAA. And then came Rubio, and that was the tensest exchange. And Rubio has been complaining privately to people for weeks about how disruptive Musk's effort has been.
The president was asked today about this clash between Musk and Rubio. And just for the record, you're one of the most deeply sourced, respected journalists in the business. But President Trump said there was no clash. What was your response to that?
There was a clash, and he was there, so he knows it. But this was a meeting where he was not. There were a couple of clashes, although, Jake, maybe not as many as there might have been had Musk not been so sharp with Rubio in particular, but also Duffy. Most of the cabinet members who were there have privately expressed some version of this. What Jonathan and I learned as we were talking to people is the president said very little during this meeting. He mostly just watched the spectacle as if he were watching some kind of a sporting event.
Yeah, let them fight. There was also a moment that you talked about that you and Jonathan wrote about in the Times during the clash between Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, and Elon Musk, where Musk made a claim and Duffy said something along the lines of just like, that's not true, what you're saying.
Right. Well, there were a couple of moments of back and forth like that. Musk, Duffy said to Musk that DOGE had tried to fire air traffic controllers. Musk said that was a lie and demanded names. And Duffy said there aren't names because I stopped this from happening. And then at another point, Musk said that Duffy has DEI hires, which, the administration has made a huge move to end diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. That some DEI hires are still in the control towers as part of the air traffic control system, and Duffy pushed back on that. And that was one of the many